as much as I like that person, it's never going to be in the same way you have love for your parents and your siblings. Hopefully, that's a very different kind of love than the love that we're talking about. The prompt, I would date a trans man. So if you would if these gay men agree, they walk forward. And if not, they're going to stay right there. Oh, 2 liberals and a conservative. Oh, we got half and half. Okay.
Every trans person has.
I've also got a running poll right now of whether or not you would date a trans person, regardless of your sexual orientation, whatever. Would you personally date a trans man or a trans woman at all? Or is that just a complete no? Replay gang, let me know in the comments below.
Their own experience of what trans is. If that trans man still had downstairs, then sure. Because that's the reason I'm gay. I'm a gay man because I'm a male with male body parts that likes male body parts.
I mean, fair enough, right? Fair enough. If it's a trans woman, then I would agree that yes, that is gay sex. So let's dive right back in.
Because I'm a male with male body parts that likes male body parts.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Would that change, let's say if you met someone and you were attracted to them based off of what they looked like in clothes, and then you found out that their genitalia didn't match what you had expected or assumed, would you still not be interested in them?
Good question, and I don't want to hear any of you. I don't want to hear any of you saying, no, I'd be able to tell. Because I just dropped a video yesterday where all of you were gaslighting me. We're looking at somebody in a detransitioner in a TikTok. You're like, oh, that's a man. You can tell. I could always tell. Da, 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 da. I'm like, I don't know. Like, this looks like a woman to me. And guess who was right? So I don't want to hear anything about how you definitely gonna be able to tell. Some people can pass. Lefty Lucy says ingredients should be clearly labeled. Agreed. Destin says thank you. Of course, fellow Americans, we are. Let's cheers to that. That is what we all have in common here. We are all, even if we don't live in America, we appreciate American values, and that's what we're on about.
It would hurt because I would be interested in them. That's happened before. I can be interested in a person, but at the end of the day, I'm gay. So if I go downstairs and there's nothing there, or there is a female body part, I can't perform.
So then,
interesting way to talk about it. That like, dude, I'm just not gonna get up from that. It's not about bigotry. It's just that's my body.
you wouldn't date a trans man, would you? A trans man is woman transitioning to man.
See, it's so confusing.
Yeah, so it's like you wouldn't, because if they didn't,
trans man or trans woman?
Trans man,
Which is
woman transition to man. That's why.
So shout out to Peter Boghossian. Trans just means fake, a fake woman. Oh, so that's a man.
It's trans man.
No.
Okay.
You can turn around if you want.
Okay, yeah, no.
Okay.
So reset.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that. He stepped forward when he disagreed with the prompt.
I think for myself, I've never had the opportunity, I would say the privilege. Personally, it is one of those things where like, what I look for in a partner is really what they bring to the table in terms of like intellectual conversation and just the way they make me feel. It doesn't really matter what you have going on. If we have good chemistry up here, like that's not gonna be a problem at all, and it shouldn't be a problem, and no one should really be conformed or confined to what they have in their pants.
I was dating someone and they were transgender, they didn't tell me, and we're like 2 months in. We actually decided to
Which is super sus, by the way. If you are a trans person, absolutely disclose that immediately.
actually do something. I don't think that's fair for me though, because you're not giving me the opportunity if I still want to continue, because that's important. So that's why I don't blame anyone or have any animosity if someone doesn't want to date a trans person, because they still have their preference. And if they are gay, it's not just gender that's important. It's also their sex that's important too. And we don't want to disregard sex as well and what their sexual identity is, because that is important to someone else.
Yeah, agreed. Because again, you know, based on what Amir was saying, is that like, okay, if you're a man and you're willing to have sex with a female who identifies as a man, then to me that just sounds more like bisexual. Like, it is what it is. A and B. X XX and XY. Shout out to Jay Luthi. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Said, is it okay not to date someone off of their preferences? He says yes. Fair enough. Fair enough. So do 100% of you. But keep letting me know as you guys are filing in. Hit that poll and say hello.
I also think, just
welcome
based
to
on
the party,
idea
Jay.
that you're talking about with sex. There's so much more to sex than just penetration or sucking on something specific. I think that there's a lot of different ways to enjoy sex and being sexual with your partner. I also think, for us to sit here and think about the trans experience is completely unfair because we don't go through it. And so for someone who is trans to think about disclosure is safety. For me personally, I think that love is such a special thing, and to be able to find it in any capacity would be a gift. And I think to close yourself off from possibly meeting someone who you are physically attracted to because of what just is in their pants is really doing yourself a disservice.
I agree. However, there is no service or disservice to be done if I am not attracted to the person. I might really love that. Like I've had love for my friends, for my male friends, but it's not a romantic sexual love. So as much as I might appreciate that person, as much as I like that person, it's never going to be in the same way you have love for your parents and your siblings. Hopefully, that's a very different kind of love than the love that we're talking about. So it's not about being, again, it's not about being bigoted. It's just about biology. Are y'all talking to yourself? Lefty Lucy says, so it's okay to catfish people or if you are a trans of some sort. Hell no. Hell no. I mean, I completely can understand how that's personal information that, you don't necessarily need to go telling everybody all the time, like, hey, stranger on the bus. But if you're talking to somebody in a romantic context, I do think that is relevant information, despite the fact that it's got to be a very hard thing about dating that's already difficult. That doesn't mean it's okay to catfish people. Jay says the issue is when some people don't disclose they are trans and it gets to the bedroom. I'm not supporting it, but you can understand why someone is mad. Absolutely. Well said. It's nobody's supporting like, hey, you catfish me and now I can beat you up, or now I can kill you, or now I can whatever. No, that doesn't mean that you should do it in the first place. Just I feel that if it gets to the point when you want to have a relationship, you should tell them straight up. Yeah, I mean, how else would it be? Anything, right? Do me a favor, hit that like button, guys. Thank you.
Can we go around
now all the
about each other?
disagreeers?
I think we all have a sexuality for a reason. That's not discounting the lives of trans people. Like, I think they have their rights. They should be alive. Like, that's totally fine. Respect to them.
What does that have to do with? Why did trans people have to be mentioned in every context for everything? I understand we're talking about that specifically, but the point that he just made is about loving people. Being trans doesn't change how you love, as far as I understand. Zippy says he's getting romantic love confused with compassion in general. Yes, well said, well said. That doesn't mean that because you are not physically and romantically and sexually attracted to somebody that you don't have compassion for them. It's just a different thing.
But I think we're, at least some of us here, are gay for a reason. Our sexuality is reduced to what's between the pants. That's literally the only reason I'm a gay man.
Again, it is what it is.
We're talking about like what's in someone's pants.
Yeah.
Would you date a trans woman who still had her penis?
I'd be open to it.
So would that make you still gay though?
I think that's why he initially stepped forward, because he was probably, so I did the poll as, I actually flipped it around and said, is it not okay? Or is it okay not to want to date a trans person? And we got 100% yes. So maybe that's what he was thinking. And if she presents as a woman and he is open to it, then that just means to me that he's not strictly gay. That there's a spectrum of how far you can go before you get into one category or the other. And he's probably just more in the gay side, or further on the gay side than bi people. But that doesn't mean that he can't also have attractions to women. Does that make? Yeah, this stuff is so confusing.
She presents as a woman.
It would make
you bi with an exception.
Well, your
Make me
definition of gay is
yeah.
defined by being attracted to
just be like, I just want,
a penis.
that would be a very, very feminine man.
When it comes to men, obviously there's what's in your pants, but them transitioning to a man, they're still identified as a man and they still present that masculinity that most men, if you want to be honest, most cis men can't produce.
Right, yes.
Did I just hear that trans men have a level of masculinity that regular men can't have? What? Jay said, is it possible to be a gay lesbian? I don't think there's any other way. I got some heat in a discussion, people saying I'm not a woman, when the definition of gay is man attracted to another man. So no, I think gay just means attracted to the same sex. So if you by virtue of being a lesbian, you are gay. Why there's a separate word for women? I don't know. Ask some feminist somewhere. But yeah, there's like gay lesbian is redundant because lesbian means woman who is attracted to other women. Cis is this a prefix that means I forget exactly. Well, let's look up exactly, but it just means like same. Where are we? Sort for that doesn't help. Denoting or relating to a person whose gender identity corresponds with the sex registered at birth. So just normal people. Anybody who's not trans, they call cis. Yep, that's what it means. So cisgender, cisgender as opposed to transgender. So no, they would say that being a man, if you are born a male, means that you are cisgender. Again, same thing. There's the same. So like the same thing where we have gay and lesbian mean the same thing. Here, cisgender and your gender of being a man, you are cisgender by virtue of being a man. I know, bro. I know. It is wild. It takes some time to be talking about this stuff, to be able to spit it out. And still, I'm getting caught up. And they will get mad at you for not being on it like that. They've made up their pronouns yesterday, but they're mad that you don't know them.
So if me wanting to date or open to dating a trans man, does that not make me gay?
I would say that you're bi with an attraction to masculinity.
Or
Yeah, there you go. Bi with an attraction to masculinity or pansexual. That makes perfect sense to me. The mental gymnastics. It is you got to do a lot. And that's true, Lefty Lucy. It's not to make sense. It's and again, Peter Boghossian pointed this out to me because I use the whole semantic obfuscation thing, changing the meanings of words and flipping them around and all that stuff. We have to remember what he said about there's a difference between obfuscation is a purposeful changing. And so there's the people who, and we always separate the people who push the ideology and the people who fall into it, the Republican politicians versus conservative voters, so on and so forth. You're right. It's meant to have confused everybody. And so now it's a signifier. The less confused you are, the more virtuous you are. The more confused you are, the worse of a person you are in their minds. Zuby says, cis is a slur. Yeah, I completely agree. The way that it's like words have meanings, right? But on top of the dictionary definition meaning, there's the practical or lexical use of a word. The best example out there is the word literally. Literally means literally, but literally also literally means figuratively. What? People would say literally as a figure, when meaning figuratively so often that it became understood. They're like, oh my God, this is literally the worst day of my life. That people understood. You're not saying that this is the worst day of your life. You're just being hyperbolic. And so organically, the definition of the word changed. And now you can apply literally to, if you're talking about, I literally have a phone in my hand, or I literally have the best hair on YouTube. Those are, according to the dictionary, those are both correct, even though you would say, I guess I do actually have the best hair, but you know what I mean? And back to what Lefty Lucy said, the oh yeah, I just said it, that it's a litmus test. The less confused you are about cisgender and all of this stuff, the more virtuous they see you. The more confused you are, the worse of a person they see you.
Right. Yeah.
So if me wanting to date date or open to dating a trans man, does that not make me gay?
I would say that you're bi with an attraction to masculinity.
Or
Yeah.
pansexual.
These conversations are so tough for me because it's like, I truly believe that you love who you love and it doesn't matter. And we categorize things because that's natural for the brain, but there are nuances and there are exceptions. Honey, I'm as gay as the sun is hot, but I
Girl,
like
okay.
you know what? I like what I
wanna
like,
feel
and I'm not
it slap in
going
my
to
face. I'm so
invalidate
sorry.
somebody else's sexuality
Totally.
by saying, "Oh, you're bigoted for not wanting to do this," because that, and it kind of goes back to our other discussion,
There you go.
where the TQ and then the LGB, sometimes those issues can intermingle and then cause
Mhm.
other people to feel invalidated just because I don't necessarily want to date somebody with a vagina.
I find this conversation interesting because to me, I don't see the point in it. Because like we can argue that someone who is a gay man will date a trans man. It's like, who cares? It's up to them. I know that
Thank
we
you.
have
That's a cop-out. The whole point is to have the conversation. That is the point of the conversation, to have the conversation and to understand what you're talking about. So to say like, oh, well, I don't really care what people are doing. Good. That's great. That's great that you don't care. That doesn't change change the fact that people are coming here. Like, what do you think the producers think when you say like, I don't really care? Then why are you here? Shout out to Daniel Cabrera. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Enjoy that movie night, sir. Enjoy, enjoy. We also got Guam Tech in the building. What's good, brother? What is good? Guam Tech is the amount of virtue signaling and venom dropped off quite a bit in this second half. But your first episode had me fuming. And I mean, we this is only what 5 minutes into the thing, so we've only just gotten started, and I'm pretty sure if I remember skipping through, it gets spicy. It gets spicy. But welcome to the party, brother. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Zuby said it's like the N-word. It no longer has any meaning. True. Jay said, seems the TQ, etc., are the ones creating the drama and the problems. Yeah, one of the earlier prompts was, should the LGB be separated from the TQI, whatever? And, they had a whole discussion about that. Again, go check out the first part of this. But they were split. They were split. They didn't really know if they wanted to, to split, or if it's no, we have to protect those and da 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 da. So now this guy's saying, well, I don't even really care. Well, all right, if you don't care, then why the hell should I care? I thought you all wanted representation and understanding and all that. But if you don't care, then what are we doing?
With a vagina.
I find this conversation interesting because to me, I don't see the point in it. Because like we can argue that someone who is a gay man will date a trans man. It's like, who cares? It's up to them. I know that we have
And I just heard that one. Thank you. Like, oh my goodness, who really cares? Clearly, the people who are sitting there right in front of you who do care, who don't want to be called bigoted because they don't want to date a woman as a gay man, or excuse me, a female as a gay man.
We have different.
Thank you.
I think it just sucks though that gay men are being called transphobic for not wanting to date a trans man.
Well,
I think that's a little too
I think we
far.
can all agree that's wrong.
That's yeah.
If we all agree that's wrong, then why is anybody like, if that's the point, that you all agree that it's wrong to say that if you don't date a trans person that you're bigoted, if you all agree on that, then it's not that we don't need to talk about it. It's that we all agree. So let's move on to something else. Exactly. Who cares? Yeah, agrees to show up to the video. Like, Zibi says, the conversation is dumb, is what he's saying. And I agree. It's kind of a dumb subject, since the only ones who have issues with it are far gone, out to lunch and to the moon. I mean, again, but then why are you here? Why are you here? There are people who, this directly affects. There's also people who, it doesn't directly affect me, but I'm interested in the conversation itself. I'm interested in the difference of opinions. I'm interested in all of that stuff. But who cares? Who cares? If you don't already get it, then you're bigoted. If you're confused, you're bigoted. That is their message. Shout out to Nicholas. Welcome, 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 sir. Thank you so much. Welcome to the party, brother.
Yeah, I don't think that's transphobic at all. If that's not your preference or if that's not who you like, then that's fine. Can't nobody get upset at you.
Agreed.
But I think it is one of those things where, like, you know, sometimes it is not what you say, but how you say it. You
That's
know,
fair. Yeah.
I've gone
Like cisgender. You're just cis, okay? Is that what you mean?
to like gay clubs and trans people have been there, and you know, we're all supposed to be like under one umbrella. We're all supposed to, especially in a gay club, like you would think like, you know, everybody's just kind of hyping people up, but it's not the case where it's like.
Why would you think that though? All you guys have in common is that you like dicks. That's all you have in common. So why would you think that because you're going to a place where you like dick and all the other guys like dick, everything and anything could be different about those people? Why? She says because they're all fabulous. They only debate like the only debate they like is master. Good one. It took me a second, but you got me. Good one. I just it's very odd to me. It's very odd.
Like, you know, you step in there, pumps on, you know, wearing a skirt, and you have like six cis gay men eyeing you down or treating you differently, all because you're transgender. So it's not even a situation of, oh, I don't like you because that's not my type, but it's the way you go about it.
That's fair.
That's fair. So yeah, and Jay's like all of these terms. And they get thrown around, and they have special protections. This is the special pleading argument: rules for thee, but not for me. And so, shoot, what did you say?
I don't like you because that's not my type, but it's the way you go about it.
That's fair.
That's not fair. Because again, if your biology dictates that you are attracted and aroused by one gender, one sex, then how is it fair? Like, no, just no. Nope.
I only didn't step up because I've never faced this. However, of all the kinds of men that I'm into, and I kind of am into a wide variety of men, my assumption is I don't think I'll be sexually satisfied if my partner doesn't have a penis.
That's it. That's it.
That's
And that's good for you. For
Yeah,
you,
me,
that's fine.
For me.
For me, I have other plans.
All right, way to start the show. Let's get to our next prompt.
LGBTQ topics should be taught in school.
All right, so this is a spicy one. And this has a lot of opportunity to be interpreted in different ways. So awareness is where I anticipate a lot of these people are going to be coming from. But you might get some people who are straight up like, yeah, all the kink education stuff that we've seen, that book that the teacher will bring in a dildo and show you how to use it with, I mean, not physically, but show you how to use it with spit versus lube. No. Shout out to Dan the Man Jensen. Welcome to the party, brother. Always good to see you. But as you see here, the community results, 78% of people said yes. That's scary, guys. That is very, very scary. Jay says, I say no, especially under the age of 15. Yeah, I think just completely agree with that. Hey, Dan Jensen, no question, no comment, just pure love of the game. Thank you so much, sir. Unfortunately, I don't have Morty here with me. You want a treat? We're gonna. I bet you he's gonna come up, so we're gonna all save them right. Where can I put it? I'll just trust me. I'm going to save them, and he is going to get them all as soon as he comes up. So thank you, sir. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Much appreciated. So, wow, all of them. Okay, so all of them. Oh, is Clarkson moving? I think the our old buck is going to be the only one.
I think age.
Wow, all but one. All but one.
For sure.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it's nuance. It's age and grade. That depends on that. But I mean, there's definitely times growing up when I was in the closet in middle school, I'm like, okay, we're taught men and women, they get together and they have a baby, whatever, especially like 9th, 10th grade. But like for gay people, something that doesn't exist. We don't like women. So like, what is my experience? I'm not reading it in a book. I'm not seeing it anywhere. I'm having to run to the dark corners of the internet. I'm having to experience all these things that they shouldn't just be going through. We should be teaching something at least. But
And it goes back to
Jay, all I'm going to say, I definitely am not having Sean Strickland on, but make sure you are here for Friday's show.
the
grade appropriate.
over-sexualization thing. It's like when people say are iffy about gay topics being brought up in school, it's like, oh, the sex. But it's like, no, like, right? Like, why can't we learn about wholesome relationships, hold them, or like, you know,
And just the
having good
history behind
credit,
it.
like,
Yeah.
you know, making good financial decisions, people of the same, like, just things that are so much bigger.
Well, yeah, and that's why
Well, why do you need that? Why do you need that? If we are just talking about how families are built and how the physical aspect of how reproduction works, then that's a different thing than who you are doing these things with. That's just a different topic, and you just want to slide it in there because it's better for you. Hey, shout out to Division Plus. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you, brother. Don't see him too often, but whenever he's around, welcome, brother. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I mean, Strickland on the show you're watching. Oh, on this? Oh, he would. I don't think they would make it out alive. I don't think they would make it out alive. That would not be a good idea. But I also would love to see that. Zibby say I'd have to say there's no need since they do not cover families and men and women. I don't know what you mean by that. Doesn't says exactly. Pregnancy is a big thing, and condoms for STDs, etc. Yeah, the basics, the basic stuff. I don't think that abstinence only is a good way to go about things. Studies have shown that when you just do abstinence only, those are the areas where you find the highest instances of STDs and the highest instances of teen pregnancy. So just like with drugs, just saying no doesn't work. So then it becomes, okay, we have to touch on this subject, but it is a sensitive subject and it needs to be done with care and it needs to be done in a way that is appropriate. And then on top of that, there also must be an opportunity for parents to decide, I don't want you teaching this to my children. Anything about sex, not even talking about the LGBT stuff, just sex at all. They should be allowed to have that option. And then you go and go in a different classroom and you work on study hall or whatever it is. That is the only fair way. I didn't even answer your question, Division Plus. Do I think the aliens from Mexico are real? I don't know, man. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. But alien stuff, it's real sketchy. It's real sketchy. I think when they're here, we're gonna know. We're gonna know, and that's not gonna happen until they want us here. Yeah, it doesn't say not how to experience every kind of kink. Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that at all.
I originally was hesitant to step forward because there is a fine line. People are talking about the Don't Say Gay bill or the Parental Rights and Education bill in Florida, which...
Bro, you're the conservative. Why are you up here calling it the Don't Say Gay bill when you know that's not what it is? You know that's not what it is. The Parental Rights and Education Act, HB 1557, prohibits public schools from having classroom discussion or giving classroom instruction about sexual orientation or gender identity from kindergarten through 3rd grade. That's it. 3rd grade. That's all we're talking about. Before 3rd grade, don't be having sexual discussions with children. Crazy. Has nothing to do with gay, straight, trans, anything. It has to do with sex. Zibby said that's pregnancy and STDs sex ed, not the whole family dynamic and male and female roles. If they taught that, then why would they have to teach all alternatives? I just don't think that that's up to the school. Like, because we don't need to dictate that it should be male and female. By virtue of normalcy, most people are straight. I don't think there's any benefit to saying that the default is the default if the default is the default. So there can be, I would be fine with a cutout where they're talking about like, okay, usually it's men and women, but sometimes other stuff goes on. Sometimes it's 2 men or 2 women or some other thing. That's as far as that needs to go for a 3rd grader. That's it. And if this is really some kid who's struggling with what we would call gender dysphoria, then at least that they understand, okay, something is wrong with me, but that's okay because I can get help for it. And help, meaning actual help. Learning to be okay with who you are because you cannot change that, no matter how much about your physical body you try to change. Lefty Lucy said, sword fighting is not reproductive. No place for it. I mean, yeah. I was thinking maybe if you were talking about in general, but within sex ed, yeah, I agree. I don't think that it'd be wrong to say that this is usually, or this is how you make a baby, but there's also people who live different types of lives. You may have classmates with 2 moms or 2 dads, or just mentioning it. You don't have to talk about sex to talk about 2 people who are in love, 2 people who are at the head of a household. Those are 2 different conversations unless you force them to be the same. Dustin says it should be way later, in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, I think my school did it in 2 parts. So in 5th grade, we had super, very, very basic, just, birds and the bees. This is how this works. That's how that works. And then in, I want to say, I think it was 8th grade. Then we had something a little bit more in depth, and that was it. That was it. And I happened to lose my virginity at 15, which, I mean, I don't know what's going on these days, but that's apparently relatively early for millennials. And I mean, that covered all I needed to know. The rest you just figure out. Quantex said again, sex ed with waivers, not kink ed. Yes, absolutely. Zibby says, I said, then they would have to teach. If they did the specifics on male and female roles, etc., but do not do the whole male-female role thing, thus they do not teach the alts. Yeah, I'm saying we don't need to talk about any of it. Sex ever, yeah, we definitely, that's what we want. We want kids to be informed of how their body works. That's it.
Which was up to grade 3. It's important for kids to know that 2
Haven't
people.
they changed that though?
Yes.
Have they changed it since
It
then?
goes up to
okay,
12th
well then,
grade now.
Either way. Well, when it was originally up to grade 3, that's when I would say I agreed with it, right? Because I don't think that it is the government's place to teach my future child about sexuality. Now, hear me out. This is why it's a gray area. When teachers open the discussion to young children about sexuality and inherent sexual attraction, it puts them in a position where they could step on the toes of parents. And that's what I don't agree with.
I totally understand where you're going with.
Yup. Dustin, spot on.
Sexuality, I totally understand what you 2 said, age appropriate. I think when you're talking about sexuality, that's like sex, that's in terms of like sexual education, sex ed. That's literally what they teach in school. So that
right,
those
and I'm
types
not
of
for
talks
that either, which is the point I was going to make.
Okay.
I don't think I'm a conservative
There you
who
go.
favors small government. I don't think it's the government's place to teach anyone's kids about sex. And
Yeah, I mean that's a great way to frame it. Just like, look, this is not the job of the school. That's just not what it is. We're not saying there's anything wrong with this or wrong with that. Maybe we have different opinions, but that's not the reason that we're not teaching in school. The reason is because school is for learning math and English and stuff like that. Not this stuff.
I know there are kids that may need to learn about it because their parents aren't good parents, but I don't think that exception makes the rule.
I think
And
they can
with
teach
that,
it
that's
with
good
a
for
waiver.
you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's good
go.
for you, but it's taught. With the way the world is moving now and the way that the community is just so open and so expressive, and the child is gonna see regardless. So like he was saying, instead of going to, the dark web or, just looking stuff up on your own and having no guidance.
The dark web, bro. The dark web. These kids don't know how to have sex. These kids don't know what P-Hub is, but they're getting on the dark web. Okay, cope harder.
If you're going to teach somebody or if somebody's going to learn it, you rather them learn the correct way.
I can totally get down with that too. You want to have parental rights in what they're saying. My whole point
Yup.
is that it has to be all or nothing. We can't.
That's a heavy statement. All right, let's see. It has to be all or nothing. And hey, if those are the choices, then I'm going to take the safer one. So be careful with that. It has to be all or nothing, he says.
Keep straight sexuality,
I
and then
agree.
yeah.
I agree.
He didn't say what he was saying. What's all or nothing? That we teach straight sex, but not alternative lifestyles? No, because it's not about marriage and love education. It's sex education. That's it. That's it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that clip, check out the full live stream link in the bio and catch me live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. See you there.